Today was a great day for the Israelis, for the Palestinians who are no longer getting bombed every day, for the president who achieved this victory. And that's good. We don't have to condition that. We don't have to qualify that. We can just celebrate that these families got their hostages, their family members back as hostages, and that the Palestinians can live without fear of getting bombed every day. Tomorrow, we're going to have to look at what happens next. And I don't think anyone knows. I don't think the Trump 20-point plan is liable to go off as it's written. I don't think the people in the region know. I don't think the Palestinians have a surety that they'll be able to live in peace and security. I don't think the Israelis have a surety that they'll be able to live without the threat of Hamas threatening them. Today we can just celebrate, but tomorrow there's a lot of hard work to be done. And I don't think that we can say that this is a pivotal point in Middle East history. What we can say, it was a good day because today the guns went silent. And that's a very good day, especially this day and age.
And there it is, the setup, then the swipe. Congratulate Trump, but twist it just enough to fit CNN's comfort zone.
But is it fair in your mind for more people on the left to actually give him credit for this, to acknowledge that perhaps he was the difference maker in this particular deal?
Well, I look at it from the vantage point of any time there's tears of joy of people having their loved ones return. It could be the Palestinians themselves with 2,000 incarcerated ones returning. It could be the 20 of Israeli. Each one of those tears, Israeli or Palestinian, are precious. That's very important. I give Trump credit for stopping the war and stopping the genocide. But the problem is, you see, is that Matthew 5:9 says, blessed are the peacemakers.
So he's going to come on here talking about blessed are the peacemakers and then spend the rest of his time downplaying what Trump did in Israel and Gaza. I don't understand the conundrum that he's bringing to the table. You can't quote the Bible to sound righteous and holier than thou and then act like what Trump did doesn't matter. You see, my thing is, if it's blessed and if it's peaceful, then call it as it is. Don't twist it and turn it just because you don't like who did it. Roll it.
Peacemakers are justice seekers. I'm not convinced that Trump is a justice seeker. He has stopped the war. He stopped the genocide. That's a positive thing. But you can't seek justice unless you look at the world from the vantage point of those who themselves are under occupation. And as long as there's occupation, there's going to be Hamas or Hamas-like resistance, because every history that we know of people who are under occupation, be they Jews in Poland or be they Palestinians in Gaza or be the indigenous peoples in this country or black peoples under slavery, there's going to be resistance. And so the question is, can Brother Trump follow through and be a justice seeker? But I think
he almost transformed into Decepticon.
But I think
because he couldn't help but retract the good information that he spoke about Trump. He was on CNN. He's at home base. It's impossible for him to say the truth and stick with it. And that's the contrast right there. One man quotes peace. The other man embodies it. Jennings doesn't have to preach it. He shows it. Calm, grounded, unmoved by the noise. That's what real peacemaking looks like.
People and the idea that they're going to de-radicalize or willingly give up their arms, I'm skeptical of. So I worry for the Palestinians actually because of what Hamas is now doing to them inside of Gaza. But I've been wearing this pin for 2 straight years, waiting for these hostages to come home, and I've been waiting to take it off. And I'm going to take it off tonight.
This right here is monumental also. Scott has been wearing this pin for 2 years. And this is not theater. This is Scott and real emotion, real truth. This is principle. Roll it.
Because the 20 people came out. And I met some of the families earlier this year. And I've been following their stories quite closely. And I'm going to replace it with an American pin, American flag pin, because in my opinion, this was a huge victory for the American people, led by our president. But it was only through the power and the force of will of the president of the United States that 20 people returned to their families, that we have the beginnings of the possibility of a peaceful era in the Middle East, and that maybe a future can be had by millions upon millions of people in a place where it's
Mhm.
sometimes hard to visualize the future.
Oh, that's
So
true.
And
can
so
I
I couldn't be
put on-
prouder to be an American tonight, because without the United
Yeah.
States and without our president, this doesn't
Let
happen.
me
Just-
just let me
just shows
But
you-
Brother Scott, though, are you concerned about the Palestinians? Can you take that off of the Palestinians and all of their suffering?
Well, I'm concerned about what's happening to them right now. They're being shot in the street by Hamas.
Well, they're
A,
under occupation, and you just had 20,000 babies killed in 23 months. I
They-
mean, do you believe that a hostage on the by
Well, some
Palestinians
of
has
the-
the same value as a Palestinian incarcerated?
I
I just
don't-
have to ask that question.
I don't regard some of the people that were in prison in Israel to be hostages. These were terrorists that we had to let go in order to get these 20 people back. The 20 living hostages did nothing wrong. Many, as Abby pointed out in her monologue, of the people the Palestinians wanted released are absolute terrorists who killed
Majority
many people.
have no trial and have had no due
But
process.
these 20 people did nothing. The people taken on October the 7th were
I-
purely innocent.
Let me
Yeah,
just- let me-
99% of the 2 million Palestinians in Gaza are totally innocent, and they've been suffering for 2 years too. And they need humanitarian aid, they need medical aid.
I think they've been suffering for
need-
longer than that.
See, you can feel the shift in the room. Scott brings a level of honesty that CNN cannot handle. The guy was trying to minimize every single thing that Trump did and does, because that's what they have to do on CNN. Donald Trump could literally lift the building with his bare hands, and they would minimize that. They would say something like, well, you know, he has been training and doing steroids behind the scenes. But Scott brings the truth, and what he said was what Donald Trump did was monumental. And for once, CNN had to just sit there and listen. I'm Jay Revardo, and if you like the truth and Scott Jennings, then hit the subscribe button. And until next time, be strong, be courageous, and as always, I love you, and you know I do.